Have you ever caught yourself spiraling into a bad mood because of one careless comment, an unfriendly glance, or a sudden inconvenience? One moment, everything feels fine, and the next you're overwhelmed, angry, discouraged, or tense. It's as if your emotional balance was hijacked in an instant. But here's a liberating truth. Your emotions belong to you, and no one can steal your peace unless you hand over the keys. Think of your inner world as a well-tuned instrument. The noise of life, criticism, delays, disappointments can feel like discordant notes striking hard. But with practice, you can learn to stay in tune regardless of the chaos around you. Emotional mastery is not about silencing your feelings or faking calm. It's about choosing how you respond instead of reacting without thought. Imagine moving through life like a sturdy sailboat. The wind may blow, the waves may rise, but with the right navigation tools, you stay steady and purposeful. You don't control the weather, but you do control the sail. That's the power of emotional awareness. Learning how to adjust your inner response no matter what life throws your way. In the video ahead, we'll explore 10 core practices that can help you move out of emotional autopilot and into intentional living. These lessons are practical and compassionate. They won't ask you to suppress your truth. Instead, they'll teach you how to respond with grace, let go of emotional burdens, and protect your peace without shutting down. Whether you're wrestling with the sting of judgment, trying to maintain strong boundaries, or freeing yourself from past emotional patterns, these tools can help you build emotional resilience. They're not quick fixes, but with consistent reflection and practice, they create lasting change. By the end of this journey, you'll begin to understand what it truly means to live with emotional freedom, where your mood isn't at the mercy of others, but anchored in your own awareness and self-trust. I remind myself daily, my emotions belong to me, and I hold the keys to my peace. When have you realized your power to choose your emotional response? Drop a comment and share your affirmation or moment of emotional mastery. Like a well-tuned instrument, I'm learning to stay in harmony despite life's noise. I respond with calm and clarity no matter the chaos. What helps you keep your inner world in tune? Let us know in the comments below. I am the captain of my sailboat. I may not control the wind, but I steer my course. How do you navigate difficult emotions or situations? Share your thoughts or affirmations with us and inspire someone today. You don't have to be pulled in every direction by the moods and actions of others. You can learn to return to your center again and again. So take a deep breath and make a quiet promise to yourself. You're ready to reclaim your peace. Let's begin this powerful transformation. One step, one breath, one moment at a time. Number 1, your reactions are always a choice. Picture yourself enjoying a calm, pleasant afternoon. Maybe you're strolling through a quiet park or savoring your favorite warm beverage. Suddenly, someone makes a careless or thoughtless remark. Immediately, your mood shifts. The calm you had slips away, replaced by irritation or even hurt. You might think, why did they have to ruin my day? But here's a crucial insight that often gets overlooked. It wasn't actually them who ruined your day. The real cause was your reaction, the way you chose to interpret and respond to what they said or did. The shift in your feelings didn't originate from the other person's words alone. It came from your perception of those words and how you process them emotionally. Many of us tend to believe that external events or people make us angry, sad, or upset. Yet the truth is that those feelings arise within us because we choose to give them power. While the world around us is filled with potential triggers, whether or not those triggers affect us emotionally is a decision we have control over. Think of this process like wearing noise-canceling headphones while walking through a busy, noisy city. The sounds of car horns, conversations, and street vendors are all still present, but you don't let them invade your personal space or disturb your peace. Emotional mastery works similarly. The chaos and disturbances exist outside, but they don't have to penetrate your inner calm. There's a famous quote that beautifully illustrates this idea. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. This space between an event and how you react to it is where your true power lives. For example, Imagine you're in a meeting and a coworker dismisses your suggestion outright. Your immediate impulse might be to feel angry, defensive, or hurt. But what if instead you paused and took a breath before reacting? You could ask yourself, is this really about me? Or is this person distracted, stressed, or dealing with their own issues? By choosing to step back and see the bigger picture instead of reacting on autopilot, you reclaim control over your emotions. You respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This protects your inner calm and helps you maintain your composure. Now, this isn't about ignoring or suppressing your feelings. Emotions like anger, frustration, and sadness are completely valid and important. But the key is that these feelings don't have to run the show or dictate your behavior. Here's a straightforward 3-step method to help you start shifting your emotional responses. 1. Pause and identify. When you notice yourself being triggered, stop for a moment and name the emotion you're experiencing. Say to yourself, I feel hurt, or I'm frustrated right now. This simple act interrupts the automatic chain reaction. 2. Reflect and reinterpret. Ask yourself why you're feeling this way. Is it because of what actually happened, or is it how you're interpreting the situation? Could there be a different way to look at it? Maybe the person was having a bad day, or their comment had nothing to do with you. 3. Choose your response. Instead of reacting immediately from the heat of the moment, decide how you want to respond based on your values and what you want for your long-term well-being. Ask yourself, what kind of response will help me keep my peace and self-respect? Then act accordingly. Sometimes that means speaking up calmly. Other times it means choosing silence. As you practice this approach consistently, you'll notice something remarkable happening. The small things that once unsettled you, the rude stranger, the dismissive comment, the little frustrations, no longer shake your emotional foundation. Why? Because you're no longer handing over control of your feelings to others. You've taken back your emotional remote control. Every moment in life presents a choice. Will you allow external circumstances to dictate how you feel, or will you stand firm in your own power? Reclaiming this power builds a kind of emotional resilience that can't be taken away. It's true you can't control everything happening around you. Life will always throw challenges your way, but you can control how much you allow those challenges to invade your inner peace. Emotional mastery isn't about living in a bubble where you never feel upset or triggered. It's about becoming skilled at noticing when emotions arise, pausing to understand them, and choosing how to respond rather than reacting unconsciously. It's a way to guard your energy and stay connected to your center, no matter what's happening externally. The next time you feel yourself about to be pushed off balance by someone else's words or actions, remember this: their behavior does not define you. Your response does. Each time you consciously choose calm over chaos, patience over impatience, and inner peace over drama, you're not just handling things better. You're evolving. You're stepping into a stronger, wiser, and more empowered version of yourself. You are learning the art of being unbothered, not through indifference, but through intentional presence. So start small. The next time something triggers you, pause, breathe. Remember that space between stimulus and response. That's your moment. That's your freedom. And from there, everything can change. Number 2, stop expecting people to behave like you. Have you ever gone out of your way for someone, offered support, showed up during tough times, extended kindness, only to find that when you needed something in return, they were nowhere to be found? It stings. Disappointment creeps in, and you think, how could they be so thoughtless? I would never treat them this way. But here's the hard truth. People don't live by your rules. They don't share your standards, your priorities, or your emotional compass. They act according to their own experiences, values, and inner wiring, not yours. Expecting others to respond the way you would is like trying to control the weather. No matter how much you wish for sunshine, rain will come when it comes. In the same way, holding others to your internal code often leads to frustration, resentment, and unnecessary emotional pain. Each person is walking their own unique path, shaped by their upbringing, beliefs, wounds, and worldview. When someone behaves in a way that feels hurtful, it's often not personal. It's a reflection of them, not you. Trying to force others into your mold doesn't empower you, it drains you. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of disappointment and unmet expectations. Take this common example. Imagine a coworker who constantly interrupts you in meetings. You find it irritating, even disrespectful. You think, I would never do that. Why don't they show the same courtesy? That thought alone can trigger anger or defensiveness. But now pause and reframe. Maybe this person isn't trying to be rude. They may be anxious, insecure, or simply unaware. Their behavior, while frustrating, likely has nothing to do with you. Letting go of the expectation that they should act differently can shift everything. You stop waiting for them to get it and start focusing on what you can control: your response, your boundaries, and your peace. There's a saying attributed to the Buddha: expectations are the root of all suffering. The less you expect others to be who you think they should be, the more space you create for emotional freedom. Here's a simple two-step exercise to help. 1. Notice the expectation. When someone upsets you, ask yourself, what was I expecting them to do? Often just naming the expectation brings clarity. Second question, it's realism. Is it reasonable to expect others to act exactly as you would? Would you want them to expect the same from you? This doesn't mean lowering your standards or accepting harmful behavior. It means recognizing that not everyone thinks, feels, or responds like you. And that's okay. When you stop needing them to change in order for you to be at peace, you regain control of your own emotional experience. So the next time someone lets you down, pause and remember, they're acting from their nature, not mine. And that's not something you need to fix, just something to accept. That's where freedom lives. Number 3, let go of the need to always be right. Think back to the last time you got into an argument. Maybe it was over something small, like which movie was better, or something more meaningful, like a disagreement with a friend, partner, or coworker. As the conversation grew tense, did you feel a deep urge to prove your point? To be the one who had the facts, the logic, the moral high ground? We've all been there. That moment when being right feels like everything, like our intelligence, our worth, or even our identity is on the line. We cling to our version of reality as if letting go of it would mean losing ourselves. But here's the truth. The constant need to be right is not only exhausting, it's a trap. It keeps us locked in conflict, drains our emotional energy, and often drives a wedge between us and the people we care about. Why do we do it? Often this need comes from insecurity. Deep down, we fear that if we're wrong, we'll be seen as weak, less competent, or unworthy. So instead of listening or being open, we go into defense mode. We argue harder, we talk louder, we become more rigid in our stance. But what if being wrong didn't threaten you? What if you could let go of the compulsion to win every argument? Imagine how much more peace you'd feel. There's a powerful question worth asking when conflict arises. Would I rather be right, or would I rather be at peace? Most of the time, choosing peace is the wiser path. Being right may give you a momentary sense of satisfaction, but at what cost? Damaged relationships, lingering tension, the stress of constantly needing to prove something? Letting go of the need to be right doesn't mean you suppress your opinions or allow people to walk all over you. It means you develop the discernment to know when speaking up is meaningful and when it's simply a reflex driven by ego. Take this scenario. A friend insists their method of solving a problem is better than yours. You feel the impulse to challenge them, to lay out all the reasons you're correct. But instead, you pause and say, I can see where you're coming from, and I respect your view. In doing so, you instantly reduce tension. You show maturity and preserve the relationship, all while keeping your peace intact. The Taoist philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "He who is attached to his views will never grow." That quote carries a deep message. Our growth often begins when we release the need to dominate conversations or always come out on top. Letting go of being right is a practice. Here's how to start. 1. Pause before responding. When you feel triggered or challenged, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is proving myself here really worth my peace? 2. Seek understanding, not victory. Ask questions. Get curious. Try to understand the other person's perspective instead of preparing your rebuttal. This not only calms the situation, but builds deeper trust and connection. 3. Pick your battles. Some disagreements matter, most don't. Save your energy for the moments that truly affect your well-being or core values, and let the rest go. With time, you'll notice something profound. You feel lighter. Conversations become less combative. You carry yourself with quiet confidence rather than defensive energy. And even when others try to pull you into conflict, you have the clarity to step back. Remember this, your value isn't tied to always being right. It lies in your ability to remain calm, to respond with grace, and to choose peace over pride. The next time you feel that surge of urgency to prove yourself, ask, will this make me happy or just temporarily satisfied? Often, calm is the real victory, and letting go is where your true power begins. Number 4, stop letting others' words define your worth. Picture this. You're excitedly sharing an idea, something close to your heart, maybe a dream, a project, or even a personal insight. You speak with passion and vulnerability, only to be met with a dismissive comment or a sarcastic remark. Suddenly, the confidence you felt begins to fade. You start questioning yourself. Was it a bad idea? Am I being foolish? Why does this happen so easily? It's because we've been conditioned to measure our worth through the eyes of others. When someone praises us, we feel good. When they criticize or belittle us, our self-esteem takes a hit. But here's the essential truth. Your worth isn't determined by someone else's opinion. It's not tied to compliments, criticisms, likes, or comments. Those things are fleeting. Your value is not. When we rely on others to validate us, we give them silent permission to shape how we feel about ourselves. That's an incredible amount of power to hand over to someone else. Often someone who doesn't know us fully or is projecting their own insecurities. Imagine a coworker harshly critiques your work, not with helpful feedback, but with condescension. Your first reaction might be to defend yourself, argue back, or shrink into self-doubt. But what if instead you paused and thought, their words are about them, not me? By separating your identity from their opinion, you protect your emotional well-being. This isn't about ignoring all feedback. Constructive criticism is valuable. It helps you grow. But not all words deserve a place in your mind. You must learn to filter. Keep what serves you and let the rest go. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." It's ironic, isn't it? We spend our whole lives with ourselves, thinking, growing, evolving, and yet we allow a passing remark from someone else to undo our confidence. Why? Because somewhere along the way, we started believing that worth comes from being liked, approved of, or validated. But real self-worth is built from the inside out. It's knowing who you are and refusing to let someone else's words rewrite your truth. Here's how to take your power back. 1. Pause before reacting. When someone's words sting, breathe. Let the moment pass before you respond or internalize their comment. 2. Separate fact from opinion. Ask yourself, is this helpful? Is it true? If not, release it. You are not obligated to accept every judgment offered to you. 3. Reaffirm your value. Remind yourself, my worth is not up for debate. Say it out loud if you need to. Your value is constant, rooted in who you are, not in who likes or understands you. Lao Tzu put it simply, care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Freedom begins when you stop living for approval. When you no longer fear others' opinions, you make space for self-respect, inner peace, and real confidence. So next time someone's words shake your confidence, pause and ask, am I letting them define me? Or can I stand in what I know to be true? Because that's where your strength lives. In knowing that no one's voice is louder than your own inner truth. Number 5, protect your energy by setting boundaries. Picture this, you're already stretched thin, juggling deadlines, responsibilities, and the constant hum of life. When a friend calls asking for a favor, they could probably handle themselves. Or maybe a coworker drops a last-minute task in your lap, assuming you'll agree without hesitation. You feel a pang of guilt at the idea of saying no, but also frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Your plans are derailed again. Why is it so hard to say no? The answer lies in a simple truth. Protecting your peace requires setting boundaries. And boundaries aren't rude, selfish, or cold. They're necessary. They're the invisible lines that protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Without them, you end up giving too much, too often, and slowly losing sight of your own needs in the process. A powerful reminder to keep in mind is this: you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're always saying yes to others, you may be unconsciously saying no to yourself. Over time, that imbalance leads to burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. It's not sustainable, and it's not loving either. Setting boundaries is a form of self-respect. It's also an act of clarity, one that teaches others how to interact with you in ways that are healthy and respectful. Many people don't overstep to be hurtful. They simply don't know what your limits are. If you don't define those limits, others will continue to assume you're always available. Let's take a common scenario. Imagine you're the friend everyone turns to for advice, even late at night. You genuinely care, but it's draining you. Rather than silently resenting them or pushing yourself to the brink, you could say, "I really want to support you, but I need my evenings to recharge. Can we talk tomorrow instead?" This kind of boundary is firm but kind. It honors both your well-being and the relationship. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the ability to live as we wish, and living freely means deciding where your energy goes rather than letting others decide for you." Boundaries aren't barriers. They're filters that help you choose what to allow into your life. Here are a few simple steps to begin setting boundaries effectively. 1. Be clear and direct. Communicate your limits calmly and without apology. Ambiguity creates confusion. Clarity builds respect. 2. Use I statements. Instead of blaming or accusing, focus on your needs. Say, "I need quiet time after work," rather than, "You're always bothering me." 3. Stay consistent. Once a boundary is set, uphold it. If you waver, people may test it again. Consistency shows that your boundaries are not negotiable. Lao Tzu offered a profound truth. He who knows when to stop does not find himself in trouble. When you honor your limits, you sidestep unnecessary stress, conflict, and emotional depletion. You protect your peace, not by pushing people away, but by showing them where the line is. In turn, the quality of your relationships often improves. Why? Because boundaries lead to balance. Not just for you, but for everyone involved. The next time you feel overwhelmed or taken for granted, ask yourself, have I made my boundaries clear? Am I honoring my own needs? When you do, you reclaim your energy and refocus it on what truly matters. And remember, you are not responsible for fixing everyone's problems or managing their emotions. Your primary responsibility is to yourself, your time, your peace, your emotional well-being. Protect your energy, set your boundaries, and watch how much lighter, stronger, and more grounded you feel. Because when you prioritize your needs, you're not being selfish. You're giving the best version of yourself to the world. Number 6, detach from the opinions of others. Imagine this. You muster up the courage to share an idea you're genuinely proud of, whether it's a creative project, a suggestion in a meeting, or a new outfit that expresses your personality. You expect encouragement or even admiration. Instead, you're met with blank stares, indifference, or worse, criticism masked as humor. That familiar sting of disappointment settles in. Suddenly, your confidence wavers, and you begin to question yourself. Why does their reaction carry so much weight? The truth is, the desire for approval is deeply woven into our nature. As social beings, we crave acceptance. But relying on external validation is like chasing a mirage. It keeps moving just out of reach. You'll never feel truly secure if your sense of worth is tied to other people's changing opinions. Emotional freedom begins the moment you stop letting others define your value. Think of it this way. Every person sees the world through their own unique filter, shaped by personal experiences, values, biases, and fears. When someone comments on your choices, it often says more about them than about you. Their approval, or lack of it, isn't an objective measure of your worth. It's just a reflection of their perspective. And here's the key. You are not obligated to internalize that perspective. Your story, your worth, your self-respect, they're not up for debate. They don't rise or fall with someone else's praise or criticism. Whether you're applauded or misunderstood, your value stays the same because it's intrinsic. Let's look at a simple example. You wear something new that makes you feel confident and joyful. A colleague glances at you and says, "That's an interesting choice." You could spend the rest of the day feeling self-conscious, questioning your decision. Or you could remind yourself, "I chose this because it makes me feel good," and that's enough. In that moment, you reclaim your self-trust and stay grounded in your own truth. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus offered this liberating insight. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. It may sound blunt, but it's freeing. Growth often looks strange to those who don't understand it. And when you're evolving, not everyone will get it. Trying to please everyone or fit into every mold is not only exhausting, it's impossible. So how can you begin to detach from others' opinions? First, question their importance. When someone's opinion rattles you, pause and ask, "Why does this matter so much to me? Do they truly know me? Do they live with the consequences of my choices?" 2. Reaffirm your values. Anchor yourself in what you believe in. When you know your why, the noise around you loses its power. What matters most is being aligned with your own integrity and goals. 3. Practice letting go. When you encounter judgment or criticism, visualize it like leaves floating down a stream. Notice it, but don't hold on. Let it drift away without attaching meaning to it. Lao Tzu put it simply, "Care about people's approval, and you will always be their prisoner." That doesn't mean you close yourself off or ignore feedback. It means learning to discern, taking in what helps you grow, and discarding what weighs you down. Think of detaching from others' opinions like using an umbrella in the rain. The rain will fall. That's life. But you don't have to let it soak into your skin. You don't have to let it shape your self-image. The next time someone's words shake your confidence, stop and ask, "Am I living for them or for me?" By choosing to detach, you liberate yourself from emotional dependence. You protect your peace, walk your path more confidently, and step into a life that's truly yours. And that kind of self-trust, it's untouchable. Number 7, respond with silence, not anger. Imagine this. You're in a heated conversation and someone throws a harsh comment your way. Maybe it's laced with sarcasm, maybe it's designed to provoke, or maybe it cuts deeper than you'd like to admit. You feel the rush of adrenaline, your heart pounding, your face heating up. The urge to snap back, to defend yourself, or retaliate with a biting remark feels almost irresistible. But what if, instead of reacting, you simply chose silence? It may seem counterintuitive. In a world that often equates silence with weakness or surrender, choosing not to respond can feel unnatural. But in truth, silence is one of the most powerful and mature responses you can offer in the face of conflict. It's not about giving up or backing down. It's about choosing peace over provocation, calm over chaos. Responding with silence doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise enough to protect your energy. Consider this. When someone lashes out or tries to provoke you, they often crave a reaction. Your anger becomes their fuel. By staying silent, you starve their fire. You send a powerful message. "I will not be pulled into your storm." Let's take a practical example. You're in a meeting and a colleague subtly undermines you in front of others, hoping to rattle you or assert control. You have two options. You can engage, defend, and possibly escalate the tension. Or you can pause, stay silent, and remain composed. That silence doesn't go unnoticed. It communicates more than a defensive argument ever could. It says, "I won't play your game. I stand in my power." The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully. The best answer to anger is silence. Anger feeds on reaction. Without fuel, it dies out. When you don't respond to provocations, you break the cycle. You interrupt the pattern. You remain in control of yourself rather than letting someone else dictate your emotional state. Silence is not inaction. It is intentional restraint. It's like holding up a shield, not to hide, but to protect your inner peace. Here's how to cultivate silence as your strength. 1. Pause before reacting. When triggered, don't speak immediately. Take a deep breath. That small pause gives you space to choose how you respond, rather than being pulled by emotion. 2. Listen without defending. Sometimes people just need to vent or feel heard. Let them talk without jumping to justify or explain. Let your silence be a mirror that reflects their own behavior back at them. 3. Speak only when it adds value. If a response is truly necessary, make it calm, clear, and grounded. A Buddhist teaching reminds us, speak only if it improves upon the silence. Silence doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you give yourself time to understand them before expressing them. It allows you to choose the right words instead of reactive ones. Think of how often we regret words said in anger. Silence removes that regret. It allows you to reflect, to cool down, and to decide if speaking will help or harm. And in many cases, silence says more than any argument ever could. The next time someone tries to get under your skin, ask yourself, will responding add value or just escalate the situation? Is my peace more important than being right or getting the last word? When you respond with silence, you stay rooted in your power. You show that your emotions are your own, not something others can manipulate at will. Silence isn't the absence of a response. It's the presence of wisdom. It's a refusal to be dragged into negativity. It's a clear boundary. It says, your words don't control me. My peace does, and that is how you win without ever raising your voice. Number 8, practice gratitude to dissolve anger. Picture this. You're having one of those days. Nothing seems to go right. Your plans unravel, someone makes a thoughtless remark, and every little hiccup feels like a personal attack. Frustration builds, and before you know it, you're stewing in anger, wondering why life has to be so difficult. Now imagine hitting the pause button on all that frustration. What if, instead of zeroing in on what's going wrong, you redirected your focus to what's still going right? Gratitude has the power to diffuse anger before it takes over. It interrupts the emotional spiral and brings you back to a grounded, more peaceful state of mind. Here's the key. It's nearly impossible to feel deeply angry and genuinely grateful at the same time. Gratitude acts like an emotional reset. It cuts through negativity and gently reminds you that all is not lost. Take a familiar example. You're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Your instinct may be to grit your teeth and blame every driver on the road. But what if instead you took a deep breath and mentally listed 3 things you're thankful for? Maybe it's the fact that you have a car, that you're headed somewhere meaningful, or that your favorite song is playing on the radio. It might seem small, but even the tiniest shift in focus can transform your emotional state. Cicero once said, "Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others." Gratitude doesn't just soften anger, it builds emotional resilience. It helps you be more patient, compassionate, and centered. And it's available to you at any moment, no matter the circumstances. To make gratitude part of your emotional toolkit, try weaving it into your daily life in small, intentional ways. 1. Pause and reflect. When you feel anger beginning to stir, take a breath and ask yourself, what's one thing I can be grateful for right now? This can be enough to shift your mindset before the anger takes hold. 2. Keep a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, jot down 3 things, no matter how small, that went well. Over time, this trains your brain to notice the good, even on tough days. 3. Reframe challenges. When faced with criticism or difficulty, try to see the lesson in it. Let's say someone gives you harsh feedback. Rather than reacting with irritation, try thinking, I'm grateful for the opportunity to grow, even if the message wasn't kindly delivered. A Buddhist teaching captures this spirit well. Let us rise up and be thankful. If we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. If we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. If we got sick, at least we didn't die. So let us all be thankful. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, from irritation to appreciation, It doesn't ignore what's wrong. It simply reminds you that what's right still matters. So the next time anger starts to rise, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I be thankful for in this moment? You may find that the anger starts to melt away, replaced by calm, clarity, and a renewed sense of control. Because peace isn't something you stumble upon, it's something you choose to cultivate. Gratitude is how you start. Number 9, reframe criticism as a tool for growth. Imagine this. You've just put your heart into sharing an idea, whether it's at work, with friends, or on social media, only to be met with immediate criticism. It stings. Your gut reaction might be to defend yourself or feel hurt and discouraged. That's a completely human response. But what if you could see criticism differently? Not as a threat, but as a powerful tool for self-improvement. Criticism, when looked at through the right lens, has the potential to teach, guide, and sharpen your understanding. It can reveal blind spots you weren't aware of, challenge your assumptions, and help you refine your approach. When you stop seeing criticism as a personal attack and start viewing it as feedback for growth, it loses its sting and gains purpose. Take a scenario. You've been working on a presentation and a colleague points out areas that need work. You could immediately assume they're trying to tear you down. Or you could pause and ask yourself, is there something helpful in what they're saying? That small shift in attitude can turn discomfort into insight and frustration into improvement. There's a beautiful metaphor that captures this mindset. Criticism is like rain. It should fall gently enough to nourish growth without washing away the roots. The truth is, not every critique will be kind or even valid. Some may come from jealousy, misunderstanding, or a bad mood. But even then, it's your choice whether to internalize it or filter it with wisdom. Here are 3 practical ways to deal with criticism constructively. 1. Pause before reacting. When faced with a critical remark, take a moment to breathe and center yourself. Emotional reactions often cloud judgment. A little distance creates space for clarity. 2. Consider the source. Ask yourself who's giving the feedback. Is it someone you respect? Someone with experience or insight? Or is it someone who frequently criticizes others without contributing positively? Not all feedback is equal. 3. Extract the lesson. Even clumsily delivered or negative feedback can carry useful information. Ask, what can I learn from this? If there's even one truth hidden in it, that's a step forward. Let's look at a more personal situation. Say a family member criticizes your career choice or lifestyle. Instead of getting defensive, you might say, I understand where you're coming from. I'll take some time to think about what you've said. This response is grounded in calm. It diffuses tension while giving you space to reflect without giving away your power. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once advised, if someone speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself. Instead think, if only they knew the rest of my flaws, they might have said even more. This perspective isn't about self-deprecation, it's about humility. It reminds us not to take every opinion so personally. Criticism, in the end, is less about the other person and more about how you respond to it. Is it truly about you, or does it reflect more about the critic's insecurities or assumptions? Every critical comment offers a fork in the road. Will you let it drag you down or lift you higher? Lao Tzu once said, knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. In that spirit, criticism, welcomed with the right attitude, is like a mirror that helps you see yourself more clearly. It's not always easy to hear, but personal growth often lives in the discomfort zone. So the next time criticism finds you, take a breath. Don't brace for a fight, instead lean into it with curiosity. You just might find that the words meant to unsettle you end up becoming the very ones that push you closer to your strongest, most self-aware self. Number 10, mastering the art of letting go. Picture this, you're clutching a burning coal, intending to throw it at someone who's wronged you. But as you wait for your chance, the coal keeps searing your hand. That's exactly how holding on to anger, resentment, or grudges works. It hurts you far more than the person who caused your pain. True strength doesn't lie in clinging to the past. It lies in your ability to let go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting what happened or pretending that it was okay. It doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior or deny the pain. Instead, it's about releasing the emotional burden that's been weighing you down. When you free yourself from those heavy, lingering emotions, you reclaim your energy, clarity, and peace of mind. You stop giving power to the past and begin directing it toward your future. As the Buddha wisely said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The harm we wish on others ends up echoing back into our own well-being when we refuse to release what no longer serves us. Think back to a time someone hurt you. Maybe it was a betrayal, a harsh comment, or a judgment you didn't deserve. How many times did you replay that scene in your mind? How often did you fantasize about saying the perfect comeback or getting your revenge? How much mental space did it occupy? Now ask yourself, what did it cost you? Letting go offers the antidote to this cycle of reliving and reacting. It allows you to stop pouring energy into what can't be changed and start investing it in your healing and growth. Take a workplace example. Suppose a coworker took credit for your idea during a meeting. It's infuriating and unfair. You could spend the next few days stewing about it, your mood deteriorating and your focus scattered. Or you could acknowledge the frustration, then release it. You remind yourself that your value isn't defined by one moment of recognition. You focus instead on your work, your goals, and the bigger picture. When you choose to let go, you don't surrender your strength, you reclaim it. Lao Tzu captured this perfectly. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Letting go isn't just about anger. It can also mean loosening your grip on perfectionism, fear, old narratives, or the illusion of control. Life is unpredictable. Mastery lies in embracing its messiness and adapting with grace, not resisting every twist. So how do you begin practicing the art of letting go? 1. Acknowledge your emotions. Don't bottle up your feelings. Denial only causes emotions to fester. Allow yourself to feel disappointment, rage, sadness, or confusion. Feel it fully, but without judgment. Letting go begins with honesty. 2. Reframe the experience. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How has this experience shaped me? Even painful moments can carry insight. Maybe they taught you resilience, boundaries, or clarity about what you value. By shifting your perspective, you extract meaning from what once felt meaningless. 3. Anchor yourself in the present. The past is unchangeable. The future is unknown. The present is where your power resides. When you let go of what happened, you bring your focus back to what's real and available, this moment. And from this moment, all possibilities arise. Imagine letting go like releasing a balloon into the sky. At first you hesitate, your hand clenches tighter out of habit. But once you release it, something inside you lifts too. A lightness follows. You realize you don't need to carry every burden to move forward. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, once said, "Do not be disturbed by what is outside your control. Let it go, and you will find peace." Letting go isn't about being passive. It's about choosing where to direct your energy. When you stop trying to control everything, you make room for what you can influence: your attitude, your reactions, and your direction in life. Letting go also doesn't mean allowing people to walk over you or accepting injustice. You can stand up for yourself and still not carry bitterness afterward. It's the difference between taking empowered action and becoming entangled in emotional warfare. So the next time you find yourself looping over a past hurt or clinging to disappointment, ask, is this worth my inner peace? What would my life feel like if I released this? Those questions can become your compass, pointing you toward emotional freedom. Because true strength isn't in how tightly you hold on. It's in knowing when and how to release. And the moment you do, something beautiful happens. You feel lighter, clearer, and more grounded in yourself. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you'll never feel upset, angry, or overwhelmed. It means you respond with clarity instead of chaos. It's about keeping your balance even when the world tries to throw you off. If this message resonated with you, consider passing it on. Maybe someone in your life is holding on to something that's weighing them down, and your words could be the beginning of their release. And if you've discovered your own techniques for staying calm and centered, share them. Growth is a journey best traveled together. Thanks for walking this path with me. Remember, emotional freedom isn't a destination, it's a daily choice. Stay mindful, stay grounded, and keep letting go of what no longer belongs. Until next time, take care and stay unbothered.